Imagine a marriage that begins not with love, not with a heartfelt proposal or a joyful celebration, but with a transaction, a price tag that determines a woman's fate. In some parts of Kyrgyzstan, this price is shockingly low, just $40. That's all it takes to change the course of a woman's life forever. For many women here, this is not just a story or a rumor, it's a lived reality, woven into the fabric of daily life. The practice is called ala kechu, literally meaning grab and run. It's a tradition where a woman is kidnapped, often by strangers or even acquaintances, and forced into marriage. Her freedom, her dreams, and her choices are reduced to a symbolic fine paid to her family. This isn't a relic of ancient history. It's happening right now, in the shadow of modern cities and in the heart of rural villages, challenging everything we think we know about love, marriage, and consent. Picture a young woman simply walking home after a day's work or school. Suddenly, she's taken by force, whisked away to a stranger's house, sometimes to a man she's never even spoken to. The $40 fine is meant to legitimize what began as an act of coercion. It turns a deeply personal, life-altering event into a mere transaction, stripping away the woman's agency and dignity. For thousands of women, this is not a fairy tale or a legend passed down through generations. It's a harsh, ongoing reality that shapes their lives and futures. Their stories force us to confront uncomfortable questions. What is the true value of freedom? How much is a person's right to choose their own path really worth? As we delve deeper into this topic, let's approach it with empathy and open minds, striving to understand the complex reasons, cultural, social, and economic, that allow such practices to persist in today's world. The $40 question is about so much more than money. It's about human dignity, the right to self-determination, and the hope that one day, every woman will be free to choose her own future. To understand Alakachu, we must travel to Kyrgyzstan, a land of snow-capped mountains and deep traditions. Once nomadic, Kyrgyz people are proud of their heritage, but the collapse of the Soviet Union brought economic hardship. Poverty and uncertainty have allowed old customs, even harmful ones, to survive. Hospitality is central here, but beneath the warmth lies a society wrestling with strict gender roles and the weight of tradition. In rural areas, life is still governed by customs passed down for generations. Bride kidnapping exists within this blend of natural beauty, economic struggle, and cultural pride. Understanding Kyrgyzstan means seeing beyond the postcard landscapes to the real lives shaped by these forces. Here, ancient ways and modern ideals collide every day. Alakachu, a practice that once held a different meaning, now casts a long and dark shadow over the lives of Kyrgyzstan's women. In the quiet villages and sweeping valleys, this tradition lingers, shaping destinies and instilling fear. What began as a consensual elopement between lovers has, over time, transformed into something far more sinister. Today, it is mostly non-consensual. Young women are abducted from their homes, pressured by strangers and even acquaintances, and quickly isolated from their families and support networks. The man's female relatives play a crucial role, urging the abducted woman to accept a white scarf, known as the juluk, which symbolizes her acceptance of marriage. Refusing this scarf is not just a personal choice. It brings deep shame and social isolation, not only for the woman, but often for her entire family. The belief that a woman who spends even a single night away from her family's home is spoiled traps her in a web of stigma. This powerful social pressure makes escape nearly impossible, as returning home is seen as dishonorable. The emotional toll is immense and often invisible. Dreams are shattered, futures are stolen, and many women are forced into unhappy, sometimes violent marriages. The trauma can last a lifetime, affecting not just the women, but their children and communities as well. Although Alakachu is illegal under Kyrgyz law, enforcement is rare. Authorities frequently dismiss these cases as private family matters, leaving victims with little hope for justice or protection. As a result, women are left unprotected, caught between the weight of tradition and a legal system that too often fails to defend their rights or offer them safety. The shadow of Alakachu is not just a relic of the past, It is a daily, living reminder of the ongoing struggle for women's rights and dignity in Kyrgyzstan. Every day, women and girls must navigate this reality. Change is slow and progress is hard-won, but the need for justice and equality is more urgent than ever. Activists, survivors, and allies are raising their voices, demanding a future where every woman is free to choose her own path. The fight continues, fueled by hope and resilience, even in the face of deep-rooted customs. The courage of those who resist keeps the dream of equality alive for generations to come. To grasp Alakachu's impact, listen to the women who've lived it. Alina, a university student, was kidnapped on her way home. Her dreams of teaching replaced by fear and confinement. For days, she was pressured to accept a marriage she never wanted, her pleas dismissed as destiny. Aygul, kidnapped at 17, resisted fiercely, but her own father told her to stay to avoid family shame. Betrayed and broken, she gave in, her life forever altered. These stories are not rare. They're the reality for many Kyrgyz women. Some escape, but most are silenced by tradition and family honor. Each story is a reminder. Behind every statistic is a stolen future. Listening to these voices turns a distant issue into a deeply personal tragedy. Their pain demands our attention and empathy. Only by hearing them can we truly understand the cost of this tradition. Why does bride kidnapping persist in Kyrgyzstan, even as the world changes around it? The answer is deeply layered, woven from threads of culture, poverty, and powerful social pressure that shape daily life in rural communities. Originally, Alakachu was seen as a form of elopement, a way for young couples to marry without parental approval, sometimes even with the woman's consent. But over time, this practice has shifted. Now, it's often used as a way for men to assert their masculinity, to prove themselves as upholders of tradition, even if it means disregarding a woman's wishes. Poverty is a major factor. Traditional weddings can be prohibitively expensive for many families, with costs for feasts, gifts, and ceremonies. Bride kidnapping bypasses these expenses, allowing families to avoid the financial burden of a large celebration. Instead, only a token fine or symbolic payment is exchanged, making it a tempting option for those struggling to make ends meet. Social status and honor are also at play. For some men, successfully kidnapping a bride is seen as a rite of passage, a source of pride among peers. Meanwhile, women face intense stigma and shame if they resist or try to escape, often being blamed by their own communities. The fear of public disgrace and dishonor forces many families to accept these marriages, even when they begin with violence and trauma. For many, the pain is endured in silence, as speaking out can mean isolation or worse. Weak law enforcement and a lack of accountability allow the practice to continue. Cases are often dismissed, and perpetrators rarely face real consequences. This cycle, fueled by tradition, economic hardship, and institutional failure, keeps Alakachu alive, generation after generation. It's not just about tradition. It's about desperation, pride, and a lack of protection for women who have nowhere to turn. Breaking this cycle will take more than just new laws or policies. It demands a shift in cultural attitudes, greater economic opportunities, and real support for women and families. Until that happens, the shadow of Alakachu will continue to haunt the lives of many. As a traveler in Kyrgyzstan, you're unlikely to witness a kidnapping, but you may sense its presence. In small towns, you might overhear hushed conversations, gossip, concern, or even pride about a recent Alakachu. At a family meal, you may notice a young wife's silence or a subtle tension, signs of a forced marriage. In cities, young people, especially women, speak out against the tradition, sharing stories of friends or relatives. Guides or hosts may confide their own perspectives, revealing both resignation and hope for change. These are not tourist attractions, but real, painful realities. As a visitor, your role is to listen with empathy, not judgment. Bearing witness is the first step toward understanding. Pause and imagine. You're 18, full of dreams, when suddenly you're kidnapped and forced into a stranger's home. Fear, confusion, and loneliness overwhelm you as strangers decide your future. The ultimate betrayal comes when your own family refuses to take you back, fearing shame. Your dreams vanish, replaced by a life you never chose. This isn't just a statistic, it's a stolen life, a personal tragedy. Empathy bridges the gap between cultures, reminding us of our shared desire for freedom and choice. When we imagine the terror and loss, the issue becomes real. It's not about hopelessness, but about connecting to the humanity behind the headlines. Empathy is the first step toward change. Imagine if bride kidnapping happened in your own community. Would you accept it as a family matter or demand justice? This thought experiment reveals how deeply we value freedom and safety. In Kyrgyzstan, activists fight daily for change, facing resistance from tradition and slow-moving systems. Their struggle is not distant. It's a universal fight for human dignity. The pain of a kidnapped bride is not just theirs. It's a pain we'd never accept for our own loved ones. Recognizing this connects us all in the pursuit of justice. Learning about bride kidnapping is unsettling, but turning away isn't the answer. Every culture has light and shadow. Understanding both is key to real change. We don't have to accept harmful traditions, but we must seek to understand their roots. Change must come from within, but we can support local voices fighting for women's rights. Let the story of the $40 bride inspire curiosity, compassion, and action. Read, listen, and learn about Kyrgyzstan's rich culture and struggles. The more we understand, the more we can support positive change. In the end, every woman deserves the right to choose her own future.